This is Highway 50. It is nicknamed the loneliest road in America. It is a 407-mile stretch of highway that connects across the high Nevada desert. And for the next 7 days, I'm going to drive across this road completely alone. But even though this road is called the loneliest road in America, it actually has lots of interesting things to see. In this video, I'm going to show you ghost towns, natural hot springs, petroglyphs, abandoned forts from the 1800s that the Pony Express used to use, abandoned army tanks, giant sand dunes, castles, and bars in the middle of nowhere. This is Highway 50. For the next week, let's escape normal life on it. All right, let's first explore the vehicle that I'm going to do this little road trip in. This is a 2020 Subaru Forester Sport. In this car, I have a full closet setup, and behind that, I have a nice mattress to sleep on with a nice warm sleeping bag for those cold desert nights. I have a full kitchen with a 2-burner stove, and behind the driver's side, I have a full fridge where I can keep all my food nice and cold for the next week. To run all of my electronics, including my fridge, I am running it all off this Anker portable power station. This is a Solix C1000, and it delivers 1800 watts of power. Now, I've been living out of this car for the last 16 months, so actually this is nothing new for me. I just am not usually in this kind of remote places for this kind of distance. If you've watched any of my videos before, you really know my setup, but in case you haven't, I'll put a link right here to a full tour video. Now, let's jump on Highway 50, where it starts. Here in Lake Tahoe. All right, obviously this is not the lonely part of the highway. As I mentioned, this is Lake Tahoe, and this is not where Highway 50 actually starts. Highway 50 actually starts about 100 miles that way in Sacramento, but I didn't go through Sacramento, I came through Lake Tahoe. And this is South Lake Tahoe, so it's quite busy. But this technically is Highway 50, and Highway 50 goes into Nevada, which is about 100 feet that way. So I'm headed into Nevada, and my first stop is Carson City, not Carson Daly. I'm headed to Carson City so I can pick up some supplies, hit my last shower for the week, and go to a laundromat. So my first stop is Carson City. It's pretty. All right, I am here at Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness is how I get showers on the road. However, there will not be another Planet Fitness for hundreds of miles where I'm going. I have no idea when my next shower will be. So, about to get my last shower for the next potential week. My longest drought ever in between showers while traveling was 8 days. Maybe I'll beat that this week. I'm hoping not. All right, well, it took a little longer than expected because I got some work done today, but I got my laundry done, I went to the grocery store briefly, and I even got my last shower for the week, probably. So now I'm ready to jump on Highway 50, and my first stop will be Dayton, Nevada, which is about 20 minutes up the street. I love me some Halloween. These guys know how to do Halloween right, too. Look. Handbook for the recently deceased. All right, I'm in the town of Dayton, Nevada, and Dayton is very significant to Nevada because it's the site of where gold was first discovered back in 1850, and it sprung up all sorts of towns like Virginia City, which is right down the street. Odeon Hall, which is right behind me, was actually a site of Nevada's oldest casino, built in 1863. Today, it's a saloon. I'm actually gonna go down the street a little bit to Fort Churchill, which is a site where the Pony Express used to stop. All right, I made it to Fort Churchill State Park, which is just right over my shoulder, actually. But as you can see, it's getting pretty dark, and it looks like there's actually a decent amount of stuff there to explore. So I'm just finding a spot to sleep for the night. The nice thing about this area is it's all BLM, which stands for Bureau of Land Management, and you can stay on BLM land for up to 14 days. So I'm just finding a nice, safe place to sleep for the night and make some dinner. And I'll check out the fort tomorrow. All right, for dinner tonight, I'm gonna make a power bowl. I got some chicken in there with some vegetables, some black beans, broccoli, mushrooms, some tomatoes and carrots, and I'm cooking up some rice, and I'm gonna put it all together in one big bowl and call it a meal. All right, bon appetit. I put it all together with a little bit of poppy seed dressing on top. All right, I'm standing at Fort Churchill, which plays a very significant part of Nevada's history. This was the largest and first fort built in Nevada back in 1860, and it served as a stopping place for many early settlers trying to get across the country over to California. This served as a safe haven from Native Americans in the area. They also served as a fort during many, many wars, and it served as a very significant part of the Pony Express Trail, which ran actually only from April 1860 to October 1861. So the Pony Express did not last as long as I was led to believe, at least. So that was kind of surprising to hear. The fort eventually gave way to the state, and the state took it over, I think they said in 1930. And so now you can come and visit it. It is a $5 fee to come here if you're a Nevada resident, and $10 if you are not. I love history like this, so I think this stuff is very fascinating. So let's go check it out. And it's cool, every building has a little sign in front of you telling you kind of its importance of why it was built and what it was used for. Oh, look, they had a Starbucks. So there's a sign behind me here saying that this building is the only quarters in which the very few women that worked here were allowed to stay. And mostly they were just here to do laundry for the men that were here. And they said they actually had to be pretty strong because they had to carry large buckets of water and carry wood and lots of other heavy demanding things. So imagine being out here doing that kind of work in the high Nevada desert during summer. Temperatures probably over 100 degrees. All right, I was standing here and just kind of getting my microphone and stuff set up on my camera, and I started hearing this like really low grumbling sound, like really low, like it sounded like an animal, and it started getting louder and closer and louder and closer, and it was deeper and richer, and I was like, what is that? So I thought it was an animal somewhere in the fort, like, you know, trying to get out or something. So I was like, what is that? And then all of a sudden it sounded like it was behind me. So I quickly turned around and I noticed a speaker behind me on the ground. And what they're doing is they're simulating the sound of the Pony Express Trail by playing horseback footsteps on these speakers very loudly. And it goes from speaker to speaker to speaker. So it gives you this simulation, like, what if the Pony Express was running right by you? But it scared me to death the first time I heard it because I did not know what that was. They're using this speaker right here to simulate the sounds. Here comes another one real quick. All right, well, very neat stuff. I think it's worth stopping if you're in the area. I wouldn't go hours out of my way or anything to come here, but if you're driving across the highway like I am, or you're just in the nearby towns, maybe even Reno or Carson City, I think it's worth to come over here for the day and just check it out. I think there's even a campground over there, so you can actually stay here overnight if you'd like to. But I'm gonna go ahead and get back on Highway 50. It looks like there's just one major town left before I head east and get back on Highway 50 as the towns get smaller and smaller and smaller. So I'm gonna hit up the town of Fallon. There's an actual like full grocery store there. So I'm gonna pick up one or two last remaining things before I hit these very small towns that really won't have much of anything. So that's where I'm headed to next, the town of Fallon. I made it to the town of Fallon, and I hit up what's probably gonna be the last Walmart that I'm gonna see for hundreds of miles. So I grabbed a couple last remaining things before I head east and get into some very, very remote places. But my first stop from here will be a place called Sand Mountain. Oh my gosh, look at all the RVs out here. Wow. I did not expect that. It's like being at Burning Man again, geez. This is wild here. I had no idea what to expect. Yeah, I got here and there's just a sea, well not a sea, but a lot of RVs and campers and stuff. And everyone has an ATV or a side-by-side, and that's really the thing to do here is you take your side-by-side or ATV up the dunes and ride it down. There's vendors here, like I wasn't expecting that at all. I asked somebody, I was like, all these like camping spots? He's like, no, it's just a free-for-all, man. Park wherever you want. I don't have a side-by-side or an ATV, obviously, so I don't think there's really much for me to do here. Probably gonna sit here for about 10, 15 minutes and just watch these guys go up the hills because it's quite fascinating to watch. And just walk around and see these vendors. This is wild. I didn't know what to expect from here. All right, well, there are the dunes. Let's see if we can get some of these ATVers and side-by-sides going up the dunes. It's pretty cool to watch. Look at them go up there. That'd be so much fun. Oh my God, look at this guy. Look at that guy. That'd be awesome. That'd be so much fun. Oh my gosh. Look at a little ATVer going up there. Wait, look at that guy. I can sit here all day and watch this, but it's also a little boring if you don't have an actual side-by-side to do that in. So I made it here. I checked it out. I saw it. It's a lot more people than I prefer to be around. So I think I'm gonna go up the street a little bit, find a place to camp for the night. That's my plan. All right, well, I'm at a place called Middlegate Station, and it is a bar in the middle of nowhere. I guess when in Rome, or the middle of nowhere, you go have a beer. I don't know how much filming I'm gonna do inside because it looks quite small. I see a good handful of people actually here, and I don't know how cool people are gonna be with me just shoving a camera in their faces or anywhere around there to film. So I don't know how much filming I'm gonna do when I get in there, but I'll try to do a little. We'll see. Everybody's coming in from Sand Mountain. All the side-by-sides. All right, well, very, very small place inside. I tried to film a little bit, but as I mentioned, like, I don't feel real comfortable with having a camera up and filming inside when people are really close to you. And it is actually quite busy in there. There's a lot of side-by-sides here. If you don't have any alcohol with you and you want some alcohol, this is pretty much your only option. So, but really cool. I had a really great conversation with a couple at the bar, and I got a free sticker. They're like, yeah, these stickers are free. Just take one if you want. So I got that. All right, I'm gonna head down the street. I think there's a place I can sleep over there. So I'll find home for the night. So I got to the place where I'm gonna stay for the night. It's just down the street from the bar. And I started looking around as I got out of the car, and I noticed there's a tank over there. Check this out. So way off in the distance is a tank. I'm gonna have to go explore that tomorrow before I leave here. But for right now, I'm gonna get dinner going before it gets too dark. All right, for dinner, another power bowl. Got some brown rice, chicken, some Brussels sprouts, carrots, mushrooms, peppers, and topped all off with some poppy seed dressing. Bon appetit. All right, well, good morning from kind of the middle of nowhere. That bar I went to last night is just down the street. It's like a half mile away. So, not exactly the middle of nowhere. There are people around. I have seen cars go by this road a little bit. It's not very often, maybe one car every 30 minutes to an hour or so. But it was nice and quiet here last night. And as I got down this very little small road, I noticed it was kind of like a little power plant thing. It's not exactly a power plant. It's more like a power generator. A couple times that generator actually kicked on last night. All the signs just say you can't go into that fenced area. Nowhere does it say you can't stay around it. So I just stayed here last night, and I mostly picked this spot because over there is a porta potty. And if you find a dispersed camping spot like this in BLM with a porta potty, take it. All right, so my plan for the day is to do a little bit of sightseeing. It's probably going to be one of my longer drive days. As I leave this area heading east, it starts to get really, really remote. So I got about an hour till I get to my next destination, which is a town called Austin, which is a ghost town apparently. And then another 30 minutes from there is some hot springs I'm going to check out. So let me get some coffee going. Let's check that out. So as I was making breakfast this morning and getting my coffee and everything ready, every once in a while I would look over and I would see that tank over there. And I'm just so curious, like, why is there a tank out here? So it's only like maybe 100 yards away. So I'm about to walk over there, check it out. There it is. All right, I'm standing at something called the Middlegate shoe tree, and there's just a bunch of shoes thrown up into a tree. So hence the shoe tree name. I read online, like, how did this start and why is this a thing? And I basically came across two stories, and they are stories, so who knows how it actually happened. But the two stories that I saw were something along the lines of an argument between a couple who were pulled over the side of the road here. And in the midst of the argument, the guy got really mad at the girl and said something to the lines of, walk home. And apparently threw her shoes up in the tree. That's the story I read, at least. And then another story says something like, yeah, that's what happened. But then he did leave for a minute, but then he came back and threw his shoes up in the tree and said, we'll walk home together. Or, I don't know, something like that. But for whatever reason, there is a tree full of shoes here. So I'm gonna check it out. It's a couple hundred shoes, it looks like, mostly on the ground, but let's check it out. Yep, just what did you think? Bunch of shoes thrown up into a tree. But a lot of them look like they've fallen down because there's just a ton of them down there on the ground. More over here. There's some way over here. Oh wow, I just looked up and saw all of them above my head. Oh my gosh, there's a ton up there. I'm sure I took multiple attempts to throw them up there and get them stuck. All right, I'm standing in front of something called Stokes Castle. This was built back in 1897, and the man who built it, his name is Anson Phelps Stokes. So hence the name Stokes Castle. This was built by hand by Stokes himself, and it is completely modeled after a tower that Phelps saw in Rome. It was actually only lived in for 1 month before the family decided to just move out, and it's been basically abandoned ever since. It's got a big fence around it, so you really can't go in there and check it out, but it's still pretty neat to see. It actually overlooks the town, which is just gorgeous here. So I'm gonna have lunch and admire the view. Look at this laundry place. It's just a shed. But hey, when you need to have laundry done, I guess you have an option here in Austin. Well, it's not much, but I guess it's all you need. It's clean at least. All right, I'm in the town of Austin, and I came here for kind of two reasons. One is for Stokes Castle, so I saw that. And the other was that I read online that Austin is a ghost town. And that's kind of like half true. There are a lot of abandoned buildings here. There's really not much, but there are definitely residents. I see a lot of houses. There are businesses. There's a very nice modern gas station. There was a saloon back there, and there is like a store and stuff. So there are things here. It's kind of like a functioning ghost town. Not exactly what I expected, but it's fine. My next stop though is a hot spring. All right, well, I found the hot springs. There's actually, I think, about 3 or 4 pools. I've only found 2 so far. They're kind of spread out from each other. But I don't know if I'm gonna stay now. There's actually quite a lot of people up here, and I'm not a big fan of camping next to other people. I just like my privacy. And there's plenty of room up here. You can spread out, but there's actually someone camped right next to the only other hot spring I can find. There's 2 I can find. One of them had a naked dude at it, so I'm not going to that one. And the other one has some people camped right next to it. So it kind of feels like I'm invading their space, although it's obviously anybody can go there. So I don't know. I don't know what I want to do now. I was kind of looking forward to maybe camping here and then waking up in the morning and jumping in one of these hot springs. That one's actually the one I just put my hand in. It's nice. It's probably around 100 degrees. But I don't know, it's just a lot of people here, so I don't know. I'm gonna sit here and figure it out. All right, I have decided to leave the area. I don't know, something about it when I got here, I just didn't really feel that comfortable for some reason. And when you're traveling alone, you really have to just go with your gut on things. It's fine, I guess, it's fine, and I didn't feel threatened or anything. But the water is obviously pretty murky and gross, and there's wild burrows in the area, so there's donkey poo all over the ground everywhere. And like I said, the pools are quite small, and just as I left that one pool where I put my hand into, like 3 minutes later, a guy walked up and got in there, and it's kind of a close spot to be right next to another strange dude. So I didn't feel like doing that. I don't even think I'm going to stay in this area. I think I'm going to go up the street. There's some petroglyphs that I'm going to go check out that I was going to look at anyways. So I may see what kind of camping is there instead. All right, I'm at a place called the Hickson Petroglyphs recreational area. And as the name implies, there are some petroglyphs you can check out on a very short little trail. It's like a half-mile trail. And there's actually a campsite here. And I haven't gone through the campsite yet, but when I read it online, it honestly makes it sound like it's free. There's no water here, but there's a pit toilet, there's picnic tables and fire rings at each station. So I don't know, I may stay here. I was hoping to get sun for my solar. And this spot is all in the trees, but be a nice place to stay for the night. So I'm first going to check out the petroglyphs though. I don't know if they'll be able to see them too well on camera, but this one kind of looks like a guy riding a bicycle. I think these are them. I can't see any other kind of markings in the rock. This is the only kind of markings I see, but it's like right here I can touch it. I'm not going to mess it up, but it seems awfully close. Usually there's some sort of barrier here that you can't get close enough to it. That's the only thing I can see, really. All right, this is probably the best one. It's really indecipherable to make out what this is, but it's clearly carvings into the rock. And this one also is the only one that's got kind of like a barrier around it. So this one's they're trying to keep this one in the best preservation as possible. A lot of the other ones you can get really close to, but I don't know what this is supposed to be, but it looks like it's definitely been marked up by humans. Looks like maybe a triangle right there, like a hut, maybe a house. Okay, yeah, this one by far is the only one that you can really make out. Clearly some sort of, it really almost looks like writing, like script writing or something. And this definitely is a marking of some sort because you can tell by those lines going diagonally like that. But I think I'm going to stay here because there's trash here, so that's pretty nice. There's pit toilets, which is pretty nice. There's a picnic table here. There is a fire ring. If I can manage to scrape up enough firewood, I could actually get a fire going, and that would be really nice. If I drive down the street, it's just going to get dark, and I don't know what the situation's going to be as I drive down the road. So it looks like I'm going to call this home for tonight. But this will be my site tonight. There's actually like a picnic area. It's actually covered, and there's a fire pit area. And there is a barbecue grill area over there. So aside from the fact that my neighbors have their generators going, this is where I'm gonna sleep. I ended up staying at the campground next to the Petroglyphs for the next 3 days. I had some work to do and the campground really was free. No, seriously, like I looked everywhere for a box to pay or a deposit or even a donation, and there just wasn't anything. And it had so many amenities that I just really didn't want to leave, to be honest. And look at me, I'm drinking wine from a plastic cup like some sort of king. I mean, who wouldn't want to stay here? But all good things must come to an end, and I was eyeing some new hot springs nearby that I found online. All right, well, I found me some natural hot springs. Actually, I almost didn't find this at all. I've been driving around this area for about 20 minutes trying to find it because Google Maps had pictures and people saying that it existed out here, but I just wasn't finding it. I was about to leave. And at the last minute, I was like, let me just drive up that small little road there and see if I can find anything. And sure enough, it's here. It's shaped like a heart. Aw. It's a very small pool. I'm glad no one else is here because I would not get in there with anybody else, especially a complete stranger. I'm gonna soak here for a minute. It's completely free. I love this kind of stuff. Kind of hot out here right now, so it's not really the opportune time to get into a hot spring. At nighttime would be better. It's in the middle literally of nowhere, so amazing stargazing a bit would be out here. But anyways, I'm gonna get a little soak before heading to my next destination. All right, well, I'm just outside the town of Eureka, and boy, do I love this little town. It's got everything I needed today, which was a shower and water, a grocery store, and a very nice, quiet spot to sleep for the night. Seriously, for being the loneliest road in America, I love it. I have slept so soundly, so quiet every single night. And most nights I'm in places like this where there's just terrific skies. So I'm seeing a lot of stars. So that was really cool. And if you're wondering, how do you find showers and places to sleep and gas stations and all that good stuff along the road like this? Of course, you can use your built-in maps like Google Maps or Apple Maps or whatever you use on your phone. But I also downloaded an app called IOverlander, and IOverlander is really for people who like to be off the beaten path and do a lot of wild camping and things. You can mark places that you found water at, propane, Wi-Fi, laundry services, hostels, parking garages, and everything else. So it's an app that really gives you everything you need, and it's like my holy grail out here. I use it for everything. So I went on the app, and that's how I knew that there were showers back in Eureka. And it's actually at an aquatic center, and there's a pool and a shower there for $3 use for a single day use. I'm kind of racing the clock here. I'm trying to get dinner done before it gets too dark, so this is where I'm gonna be for the night. Tonight, I'm going simple with dinner. I'm gonna do a dehydrated meal. This one's al pastor with cilantro, lime, and rice. These things are actually pretty good. All right, behind me are the war charcoal ovens. These giant kilns were used for mining operations from 1876 to 1879. Each one of these 30-foot tall kilns could hold 6 acres full of wood. And what they would do is stack all the wood inside of it, light all that wood on fire, and then turn all of that wood into charcoal. It would take 6 days for all that wood to burn enough to make the charcoal that they needed. And then they would ship that charcoal off to nearby mining operations. And charcoal burns a lot slower than wood, which is why they didn't just ship the wood that they found off to the nearby mining operations. I think this stuff is really neat. I've seen something just like it before in Death Valley National Park, so let's go check them out. Imagine this room stacked with wood. Whoa, this place is huge. And it's got an echo, 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 echo. And if I didn't already say it, this is near the town of Ely, Nevada, where I've actually been for the last, I think, 4 days now, 3 or 4. I don't know, I have to go back and count it up. It wasn't my plan to stay here that long, but as I rolled into town, I started getting a couple of jobs I needed to finish up for some clients. And the town has got a great library to work at. It's got a full grocery store. It's got a very safe place to sleep at. There was even a really great aquatic center here in the town where I got some laps in. I was able to swim and I got a hot shower. So there was no really reason for me to leave. So that's where I've been for the last couple of days now. And that's where I'm gonna end this video. This is still on Highway 50, but Highway 50 doesn't actually end here. It actually ends further into Utah at a small town called Delta. But I think this video has been long enough. I've already started the editing for it and it's already going on about 30 minutes. So instead of showing you even more stuff, I'm gonna end it here and I'm gonna pick up my next video a little bit further down the road near the town of Baker at the Great Basin National Park, which is where officially 50 will end in the state of Nevada. So check out that video. But I gotta say, for being the loneliest road in America, this has been an outstanding road trip. There's plenty of stuff to see. It's not lonely at all. There's been plenty of people, plenty of towns. In fact, I never went down more than like a quarter tank in gas because there's so many places to stop along the way. And not only get gas, but get groceries and everything else. And plenty of historic and natural beauty to see. So I encourage anyone to do this road trip. Don't let the name scare you off. But until next time, when we pick things up again on Highway 50 at Great Basin National Park, thanks for escaping normal life with me.